We got a Chandler Jones update coming up here in just a second. But hey, I got to show some love to today's sponsor. Huge shout out to Roan. And if you haven't already, go to roan.com/chatsports and make sure that you use promo code chatsports for 20% off your order. Don't worry, that link's going to be available for you guys down in the comments and in the description. So coming up here on the Raiders Report, not only are we going to give you the latest on the entire Chandler Jones situation, I had a lot of people ask me, Mitch, what does the Jimmy Garoppolo contract restructure mean? And could we potentially sign some players? I have 5 free agents that I do believe would help out this team with the money that we have now from the Garoppolo contract. And as it stands, Las Vegas has 54 players on their roster. They have to get rid of somebody by the end of the week. I'll tell you why and who that's going to potentially be. If you don't know our programming schedule, this is what it's going to be looking like. We're going to be live Monday and Tuesday after the Raiders game against the Broncos, and we're going to be going live 4 days a week. I'm going to be live tomorrow for Chiefs-Lions. Let's go Lions. Let's cheer them on. And then hopefully you're tuned in, ready to go for our watch party against Denver. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications because we got lots of content coming up on the Raiders Report. All right, so now let's get into the latest here on Chandler Jones. Head coach Josh McDaniels spoke today about Jones at his press conference. And if you live underneath a rock, Jones went on a social media tirade on his Instagram story on Tuesday, claiming a lot of wild and outlandish shit. If you haven't seen it, just go watch the video that I put out yesterday. But he also said that he didn't want to play for the Las Vegas Raiders anymore. He unfollowed the Raiders and Maxx Crosby on Instagram. Today when McDaniels was asked about Chandler, said that wasn't going to practice today, and he did not practice today, and that they said that the situation right now is day-to-day. The other thing that I really thought was interesting that McDaniels hinted at and said was like the way that he's phrased, well, he's not a team captain. So I do wonder if him not being named a team captain rubbed Chandler Jones the wrong way. I don't know the ins and outs of this entire situation. It is voted by the players. But when I heard McDaniel say that, I don't know. It was a weird way. The way he said it. If you haven't watched the press conference yet, go back, watch the press conference, because to me it was like he was trying to tell us something without actually trying to tell us something. Either way, this is what I need. I know, and I think everybody needs this. Good vibes only. We do this on live shows, and with all this Chandler Jones drama, I want good vibes only going in to the Week 1 game up against the Denver Broncos. I want good vibes only because football's back tomorrow. We made it. We finally made it. We got actual football tomorrow, and I hope the Lions take care of business, take care against Kansas City Chiefs. Spam good vibes to keep it going. And if you're like me, you want to keep the good vibes rolling, whether you're at work, whether you got date night. Hell, I can wear this shirt when I'm walking Chuck down the street because of how light and just amazing this thing feels. Go to roan.com/chatsports and make sure you use promo code chatsports to save 20% off. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Roan stepped up to the challenge. Roan's commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man. It's time to feel confident without the hassle. With Roan's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's honestly that easy. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/chatsports and use promo code chatsports to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/chatsports and use code chatsports. It's time to find your corner office of comfort somewhere. Not only are their dress shirts elite, their pants are awesome, their shorts are awesome. I would show you, but I can't show the tattoo here on screen yet. I want to show it to you when it's finally done. But I do believe in this product a lot, and I really love how they've really helped elevate my wardrobe. So go to roan.com/chatsports. One guy who I guarantee you wears Roan is Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's probably why he's dripping in this picture here. If you don't know the latest on the Raiders quarterback, Garoppolo restructured his contract on Tuesday, freeing up $17 million in cap space. So when the day started, the Raiders were $7 million underneath the cap. in the hole. So they had to climb out of the hole. And who do you look for when you're trying to get in or out of a hole? It's Jimmy Garoppolo. Just ask the Bunny Ranch. Now, obviously, it's kind of ridiculous what I just said there, but the important fact is this. The Raiders right now are around $10 million in salary cap space, and Jimmy G's cap hit for this upcoming season is 6.7. Garoppolo also has added void years on his deal, which means essentially when it's all said and done, whenever he is no longer a member of this team, the Raiders will continually pay him. Now, when I saw $17 million restructured, I went nuts, and I was live on the Raiders Report when it happened, because to move around $17 million usually means something else is going to happen. I know that people are on social media. There's that Josh Dubow guy who he must be as miserable as all hell could be, because that's all that guy is, he's just a troll, man. But he was like, oh, it's just because they were trying to get underneath the cap. Well, then they would have just restructured it with $7 million to then get back to the cap. They freed up a lot of money. Am I sitting up here saying that they're going to make a move? No, of course not. You never know what this organization's going to do. But when I know now that they have $10 million in salary cap space, they moved around $17 million, that's the type of move that means we're getting ready to do something, usually in the NFL. Now, coming up here on the Raiders Report, I'm going to show you guys 5 players that, with everything going on with Chandler Jones, I would take that money that we save from Jimmy Garoppolo, and I would look to go out and potentially get a plan B. Now, sure, you might be able to add a free agent, or you might be able to sign a Jordan Willis, but to me, these are your top free agent defensive ends that I'm going to be looking at. I will admit, a player that I would bring back is Jordan Willis, because he's been working a lot with the Raiders this offseason. But if you actually wanted to look at the top free agent defensive ends, good replacements for Chandler Jones, it's these 5 names right here. Kyle Van Noy, Melvin Ingram, Carlos Dunlap, Robert Quinn, and Jason Pierre-Paul. All much older names, but sometimes you need a veteran if you're asking them to fill in a few days right before the season's getting ready to start. So what do you think here? Who's a player the Raiders could sign with the money that they save from Jimmy Garoppolo? I do think one that makes sense is Jordan Willis, and I will take a guess that if the Raiders are really concerned about Chandler Jones, that could end up happening. Jordan Willis and also Kyle Van Noy. If you want to look at the linebacker position, I'll continuously say Rashaan Evans. Coming up next here on the show, the Raiders got to cut a player. And I said this when the Raiders released their 53-man roster, and I had a bunch of people like, Mitch, if you count it up, the Raiders are at 54 players. You're right. I said it then, and I'm going to say it now. Josh Jacobs is still on the NFL exemption list, so the Raiders have until the end of the week to get rid of a guy because they have 54 players. So to me, there are 8 players that I would say are in a tier of they could potentially end up getting cut. Sorry, you're not going to see Brian Hoyer. He's the quarterback 2 on this team, and he's going to be the QB2 for the entire year. Kristian Wilkerson, the 6th wide receiver, is a name to keep in mind. Curtis Bolton, the linebacker, though I know that they like him a lot. Roderic Teamer, Isaiah Pola-Mao made this list here. Amik Robertson, Brandon Bolden is the only player listed on the depth chart, and the 4th string spot, Justin Herron, and then JordanMeredith. All 8 of these players have the possibility of getting cut. If it was up to me, the player that I'm moving on from is Brandon Bolden, because then I can save another $2.23 million. The problem is Raiders probably won't do that. So who do you think the Raiders are going to move on from by the end of the week? I gave you 8 names. I'm sure that there's going to be some people out there that say, dude, Mitch, you're forgetting about another name. Here's the cool part about the Raiders Report. You can let me know down in the comments. Now, before I leave you guys here today, I did want to give you an update on the Raiders injury report. It was literally just released here. Chandler Jones, he wasn't at practice today. Brandon Faison was also not at practice today. And then DeAndre Carter was a limited participant, but from everything I hear, he's okay. Over the weekend, I talked to y'all. I said, hey, Raider player said that he might be a little bit banged up and he might not be able to practice right away on Wednesday. That player was Jermaine Illuminor. I am now allowed to tell you, obviously he practiced. He's ready to go. The expectation was he's always was going to be okay for the Raiders season opener against the Broncos. My only question is, will you be there with us here live on the Raiders Report when Jeremy Chuggs and I take down the Denver Donkeys?